This message comes from NPR sponsor Delta Airlines. Delta's mission to connect the world begins with a commitment to the communities where their employees live, work, and serve. Delta, committed to giving back for nearly 100 years.
Hello, hello. I'm Brittany Luce, and you're listening to It's Been a Minute from NPR, a show about what's going on in culture and why it doesn't happen by accident. I don't care if you're watching it or not. We have to talk about Season 7 of Love Island USA. So if you don't know, Love Island throws a bunch of very hot, very single, and very ready-to-mingle contestants into a villa together to look for love, connection, $100,000, and
yes, maybe they are really looking for love, but also it is an amazing launching pad for being a real influencer.
And that makes watching the show pretty engaging. As these couples pair off, break up, make out, and so on, the audience responds in real time online, like actual real time.
Because the show is produced on such a tight turnaround, they have access to how the American populace is responding to stuff. So they can see us hating or loving these islanders and then make decisions the next day of what to do with them.
I'm tired of going on stupid dates. Love Island, find me a man.
I think what is really appealing to me about it is it's kind of like watching the Stanford prison experiment. Like, the producers are just putting these people through absolute hell.
As these couples try to keep their relationships going strong, they are constantly tempted by potential new hot connections from a never-ending stream of bombshells, aka hot people production send in at random to shake things up.
Brace yourselves. A brand new bombshell is entering the villa.
But this season has some viewers, myself included, scratching our heads.
I love watching Survivor because it's just watching real life. And Love Island does feel like that with dating, where it's like, oh yeah, every straight woman I know trying to date right now is complaining about these exact same problems.
The problem? There feels like a supreme lack of romance across the board. The men, who historically at the very least tend to be emotionally vulnerable with the women they're interested in, seem to be extremely disengaged this season.
It's a huge indication to me of this kind of generation of people who don't know how to really interact in real life or be open and vulnerable in real life.
And fans have taken notice. And because the show is so responsive to the audience, it's created an awkward feedback loop where the demands of the show and the demands of the audience feel lopsided. So I decided to call up two bombshells, writer and defectors Kelsey McKinney.
We're so excited to be here.
And co-host of Scamfluencers, Sarah Hagee.
Thank you so much for having us here.
To get into this season and what reality TV may be reflecting about our actual lives. Okay, producers, send in the hotties. I want to get into one of the things that's been kind of like on my mind this season so far. In my opinion, there's been a bombshell shortage on the men's side.
Preach.
Speak on that.
Sorry, I'm trying to put this delicately. The women this season are flawless, impeccable. And additionally, they also obviously do lots of things to also adhere to very conventional beauty standards. They all have the long hair. They are incredible at doing their own makeup. Olandria, fan favorite. She,
my queen.
Literally one of the most perfect looking people I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. And the men, not so much. There's not usually a wide variety as far as, let's say, body type or looks-wise within the villa, even for the men. So there's guys that are short, which is kind of perhaps a knock against you on Love Island, or don't have super big muscles, which could be a knock against you on Love Island. There are guys who don't fit so well into the extremely narrow sort of male beauty ideals of Love Island. And when you kind of put them next to the women and then you see the way that the men behave toward the women,
yes,
it's like, what's going on? I'm thinking about the coupling of Olandria and Taylor. Is like that's who like her OG guy that she was coupled up with. I'm hearing some deep breaths. Like I'll say this is a guy, his personality's like okay, and like he's got nice hair, like he's cute enough.
He's got a cute face.
Yeah.
He's awkward.
And the one thing I'll say that really gets my goat is he has a Planet of the Apes tattoo on one side of his chest. Like he treated Olandria, again, a goddess walking on earth,
A queen,
as if she was just like some crud he found at the bottom of his shoe.
You know, this is what Love Island does to me. Like, I'm a straight woman. I'm definitely not out there by any means like these girls are. You know, and I see them and I'm kind of like, oh, like, is this what being a woman and trying to get guys is? Like, in these situations, it is a man's world in this crazy way where they're trying to be like, oh, this is what a man likes and this is how I'm going to talk to him and I'm going to agree with everything he says and be like, oh my God, you are weird like me when like he says nothing basically. You see them have these conversations and it's like, guy says something, woman repeats and agrees. Guy says something, woman repeats and agrees. And the guy's like, I don't know, I'm falling so hard for her. And you're like, what? Is that all it is?
Yeah.
It feels like life on the outside.
I think it's also complicated because the mechanics of the game are such that if you aren't in a couple, you are more likely to be forced off the show.
Yes.
And so the show encourages you to stay in a couple, even if you are like maybe not that happy there or maybe don't really like the person that you're in a couple with.
Wow, like real life.
Just like real life, there are advantages to being coupled up. And like, I feel like people say this about Survivor as a show all the time where they're like, I love watching Survivor because it's just watching real life. And Love Island does feel like that with dating, where it's like, oh yeah, every straight woman I know trying to date right now is complaining about these exact same problems. And so it's like, you're not crazy. Here they are.
Yeah, I mean, really getting down to is like kind of like a lack of romance this season for sure. Like I remember like last season, what made it so compelling was that there were moments where a guy would think he had lost this woman that he really liked forever. And so they'd like cry and do these grand gestures and be having breakdowns and like running and chasing after them. And like, it was like, there was like some push and pull there. And the guys have been just kind of like emotionally disengaged in this way that I've seen some people compare online on social media to like watching real life sort of red pill content or incel content, like dating advice play out. Like, feels like that's kind of like undergirding a lot of the relationships between the men and women. My husband has referred to this season as the incel season of Love Island USA.
Rough.
Yeah, and it just feels like this may have been like the first group of guys in the Love Island USA villa, at least, who seem like they are a reflection of that aspect of dating right now.
I think a really vivid example of this is in one of the challenges, they had all of the men blindfolded and they brought in new women and then they had the women kiss the men in their blindfolds and then they asked the men to rate the kiss, which is incredible. Great game mechanic. One of these guys, who I would say is by no means at the top of the pecking order in this house, TJ, gives all of the women like a 6. On their kisses. And I was like, what is this? Like, I was like, are you negging? Like, what do you think you're doing here?
It's a huge indication to me of this kind of generation of people who don't know how to really interact in real life or be open and vulnerable in real life. And yeah, I mean, like the thing that really hooked people last season was the genuine feeling of romance between a lot of these couples. Like, you know, last year's winners, Serena and Cordell, they weren't a couple that was like being explicit and making out all the time. It was very much a slow emotional burn that felt very real. And it was like such a good match of personalities. Like she was more fiery, he was more reserved, and you could tell he like love me. I'm doing that like she was crazier than him. No, but like you could tell he was like really in love with how she expressed herself and how strong she was. And I feel like you're just not really seeing a lot of that right now in this season. These men don't have like the smoothness to woo a woman, except I guess like the closest we have this season is Nick.
Yeah.
He's the most fun and charismatic, I'd say.
And he has the most game, right?
Yeah.
Like he has the ability to flirt in a way that even through the TV, you're like,
Even I saw a Q&A with like Nick's mom and sister, and they're like, we're pro Nick Alandria. We love
Wow.
Alandria. Like even before they even got together, they could tell that Nick was feeling Alandria. I think that's his type. And so like when they finally had their first organic kiss on the show, I'm like screaming. That was a moment that felt really real. Even though like production came to kind of like manipulate it all, it felt really real. And that's what gets me to watch the show, like the thing that ropes me in.
Something that I think is interesting about what you're both saying is America and the world really likes to watch actual romance on TV. And I think a trap that producers often fall into and have fallen into on other dating shows is mistaking love for the show for love for like people being hurt and intense drama, right? Like The Bachelor had a whole problem where for years they were setting up these girls to be heartbroken and people stopped watching the show because it wasn't fun. You want to see people fall in love. And I think the Love Island producers understand that. They know that people want to watch people actually fall in love, but you can't make people fall in love. It's part of the problem.
Yeah, you really can't. Coming up.
It's always so hard to know, like, what is normal in love? Like, what is normal when trying to be attractive and trying to talk to someone that you're attracted to?
How reality TV might reflect more of our dating lives than we might want to admit.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from Delta, committed to the communities where their employees live, work, and serve. Delta First Officer Pilot Monique Grayson shares why she believes in the value of giving back.
Volunteering helps because it gives you an opportunity to see a different perspective. There's so much in the world that we'll miss. But when you take a moment to spend time with somebody else, to pour into somebody else, your perspective changes. You start to see the importance of being the change you want to see in the world. It helps people reach their goals when you have someone showing that they care. And when people feel cared for, they perform differently. Their confidence changes. This person is supporting me. And then not only that, it holds them accountable too. Because if the person that's supporting you is in a position where you want to be at, let me go ahead and put my best foot forward. At least that's how I would think about it.
Delta, committed to giving back for 100 years. This message comes from Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless and made it right. They offer premium wireless plans for less, and all plans include high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, and nationwide coverage. See for yourself at mintmobile.com/switch. This message comes from Amazon. When you're on hold with a doctor's office or pharmacy and the operator says, "Your call is very important to us," after the 10th time, well, suddenly your call doesn't seem very important to them at all. Amazon One Medical has 24/7 virtual care, and Amazon Pharmacy delivers meds right to you fast, without any horrible hold music. Thanks to Amazon, healthcare just got less painful.
Because this season didn't have a ton of real romance, there's quite a lot of anger for people watching this show because I think they're kind of expecting a lot of the wholesomeness of last year, and that just isn't really quite happening.
Well, that anger, like, it reached a serious point. I mean, Love Island USA had to issue a warning to viewers this season to, like, be kind, quote, to Islanders because they were getting harassed online.
And they don't even know they're being harassed yet.
That's the thing, because
they have no idea.
They have no idea. But their friends often, in order to keep their social media presences warm while they're in the villa, they often have friends and family who are manning their accounts and posting things and having to, like, manage all these weird comments. I think about this one woman. She's brought in during the Casa Amor phase. Her name is Vanna. She's like 21. She's been getting a lot of chatter online about her looks. And listen, well, I watch the dregs of reality TV with the rest of America, okay? With the rest of the world, okay? Like, there are people that do so much to manipulate their appearances that, like, when you're sitting on the couch at home, if you're sitting there with someone else, you can't help but be like, what's going on? Like, what's happening, right? Like, I'd be lying to say if I never made any type of comment about someone's appearance while watching reality TV. But people online have gone so deep into speculation about her appearance.
Oh, yeah.
They found her high school yearbook photo and tried to do the math on when she may have gotten certain procedures, possibly. Like, I wonder, I don't know, for like a show that's so deeply about looks, desirability, appearance, or even just like watching people be messy, like, how do we kind of toe this line as viewers?
As a like dyed-in-the-wool hater from birth, do you people not have group chats?
Right.
Yes.
You don't need to post this online. You
Right.
don't need to be in people's DMs talking to them or their family or whoever. You don't need to be commenting on their posts. You need a group chat.
Yeah.
All of these things are fine judgments to have. Like, you can be the biggest hater in the world in a group chat because you are not directing that animosity and those unfounded feelings toward real people.
Yeah.
You are directing them to your friends.
Yeah. Or also, what happened to subtweeting?
I could not imagine earnestly commenting on any person's Instagram in a mean way or like tagging them or whatever.
No.
I think people are kind of losing the plot of like how to be a viewer of this kind of television where it is normal people, in a sense, just going on TV. They have no idea what's going on. You know, I think from Love Island UK, 3 people have died by suicide from the way people behave to them in public. And I don't know, I just, in my mind, I'm just kind of like, yes, I'm talking to my friends and I'm judging these people and I'm saying like, I can't believe you do that. Or like, I think he's legitimately evil. But like, no, I mean, this is still a 22-year-old on TV, like, is Ace evil? Yes. Am I going to cyberbully him about it? No.
No.
I think where a lot of this gets really complicated for me too is that there is money to be made off of attention now. And you can get attention by being a bully online. And like, we are seeing this across all sorts of different forms of entertainment, right? Like, a man just got banned from every Major League Baseball park in America because he like yelled at a man whose mom died about, like, made a "your mama" joke to him. And like, that is not appropriate. And I think we're kind of relearning how to interact in the world with people who many people think they have actual relationships with. And in reality, that's someone you watch on your TV. They have no idea who you are.
Yeah. I think there's just this new way of watching these shows and even being a contestant on them where one of your goals is to build your career in like the influencer economy. And I think it just makes also people amp up these characters perhaps and kind of try very hard to be someone that they think people want them to be.
Yeah. I think to your point, also one of the grand delusions that allows people to go on reality TV is like, well, I'm different and I'll know whether I'm hated by America or not, right?
You can't know.
I think a really good example in this season is America voted to break up a couple that, from what we were being shown, seemed extremely toxic and bad.
Of course, we're talking about Huda and Jeremiah here. They coupled up early on in the season, but viewers often felt that Huda was a bit too possessive of Jeremiah and was constantly trying to stop him from exploring other connections. Now, Jeremiah has since been voted off, but it was a lot.
Yes.
And also, all the other contestants were sick of hearing about all of their drama.
But when they broke up, this woman, Huda, her reaction, a large part of it was, oh my God, America hates me. Like, why does America hate me? Like, she hadn't considered that the edit she was getting might not make her the hero. And like, that is so scary to me because I'm like, you see her now trying to like rehab this image in the house outwardly facing, but you can't control that. That's the whole game.
We all understand that this show is like deeply fabricated and heavily manipulated and like probably dangerous to everyone's mental health.
Oh yeah, it's so bad for
Big
you.
time.
But I don't know. I mean, this season we all expressed was like lacking a lot in romance, struggling to get started. And then things have kind of turned around. Like, we stuck with it still long enough to see it turn around. I wonder, what are we looking to get out of shows like this? At the end of the day, I suppose, why are we here? Why are we doing this?
There are a lot of sociological studies about why people watch reality TV. And one of the things that sociologists have found in this research is that people love to discuss the way that other people behave because it helps them understand the world.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
And so in watching Love Island, a show where you get a deluge of content about people, you can start to identify character traits and start to say, like, this person seems like this and behaves like this, and that reminds me of this person, which maybe explains something in my own life to me. And that sounds like, you know, a little like erudite for what we are really doing, which is watching a bunch of really hot people run around a villa. But it is true. Like, we love to dissect the way that other people behave because it helps us understand the world.
Okay, Kelsey came in with a very intelligent answer. But for me, I'm just kind of like, just fun to watch people in these situations that are also feel so private. Like, it's always so hard to know, like, what is normal in love? Like, what is normal when trying to be attractive and trying to talk to someone that you're attracted to? And you see, again, a pretty homogenous group of people in terms of like what they value or how they look, the type of hot they are. But you do see these kinds of like real things come out. You know, there's one contestant that everyone has become a fan favorite in this way, Amaya, who came in as a bombshell and just hasn't been lucky at all, but wears her heart on her sleeve and keeps facing rejection despite being a gorgeous, gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, wow, like these women who I see as having all the choice in the world are having these problems. Like, I guess it is universal, you know? Like, I think that's also what creates this connection between viewers and these contestants.
Well, Kelsey, Sarah, thank you both so much for joining me. This was great.
Oh my God, what a joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Those bombshells were writer and Defectors, Kelsey McKinney, and co-host of Scamfluencers, Sarah Hagee. And I'm going to put on my influencer hat for a second and ask you to please subscribe to this show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you're listening. Click follow so you know the latest in culture while it's still hot. This episode of It's Been a Minute was produced by
Alexis Williams.
This episode was edited by
Nina Patak.
Our supervising producer is
Barton Girdwood.
Our executive producer is
Verilyn Williams.
Our VP of programming is
Yolanda Sanguini.
All right, that's all for this episode of It's Been a Minute from NPR. I'm Brittany Luce. Talk soon.
This message comes from Mint Mobile. If you're tired of spending hundreds on big wireless bills, bogus fees, and free perks, Mint Mobile might be right for you with plans starting from $15 a month. Shop plans today at mintmobile.com/switch. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5GB plan required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Support for NPR and the following message come from Rosetta Stone, the perfect app to achieve your language learning goals no matter how busy your schedule gets. It's designed to maximize study time with immersive 10-minute lessons and audio practice for your commute. Plus, tailor your learning plan for specific objectives like travel. Get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off and unlimited access to 25 language courses. Learn more at rosettastone.com/NPR. This message comes from Charles Schwab. When it comes to managing your wealth, Schwab gives you more choices, like full-service wealth management and advice when you need it. You can also invest on your own and trade on Thinkorswim. Visit schwab.com to learn more.